We need to have a talk, folks. Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly and welcome back to another video. Very different settings today. I've moved the camera slightly, so you know it's a serious video. In all seriousness, the reason being that the sun was being obnoxious and ruining my shot. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Chelsea 1, and I think it's fair to say that things are getting beyond worrying at this point. It was a 1-1 draw, a point apiece, and realistically I don't think Chelsea deserved even a point with that level of performance. It was absolutely horrific last night, I have to say. And incredibly, Chelsea actually took the lead in this game, thanks to Hakim Ziyech. It was a really good strike by Ziyech, to be fair, but completely against the run of play. Up until that point, Brighton had a lot of the ball, not really doing too much with it, but moving it about with, far more purpose and desire. They actually looked like they wanted to be there. Do you know what I mean? And they looked like they wanted to win while they were here. Do you know what I mean? And that's one word I'm going to keep coming back to a lot in this video. It's desire. Yeah? Desire, going out there and wanting to win the game of football. Do you know what I mean? I realise the shot now just kind of highlights all the Liverpool stuff, but what are you going to do? Danny's design choice. First of all, Thomas Tuchel decided to change things up a little bit from the weekend's defeat to Man City, which, is no real surprise because it couldn't have got much worse than it was against Man City the weekend, but it somehow managed to come close. First of all, he changed to a 4 at the back with Alonso and Azpilicueta as the fullbacks. I think the only two, maybe three good players that Chelsea had last night. The two centre-backs, I thought Rudiger and in particular Thiago Silva, absolutely fantastic, and only 4 of them, it could have been more. And I actually think Kepa did alright. Kepa made a couple of decent saves. What he was asked to do, he did it to a decent standard. The goal, the Webster goal, nothing he could do about that. Not his fault at all. There was obviously question marks over his role in the De Bruyne goal the weekend, but I don't think you can blame him for that Webster goal last night. Then he's gone with a 3 in midfield of Kante, Jorginho and Mount. None of these 3 players were able to keep up with the pace of the game. Brighton absolutely controlled the game in the centre of the park. And similar to the weekend, the 3 up front were non-existent once again. The slight change in the front 3 being Christian Pulisic was dropped and Callum Hudson-Odoi was brought into it. And he wasn't much better. I don't think he was better at all, if I'm being honest with you. Ziyech gets the goal. It was a good strike, but apart from that, he was an absolute disgrace again, not only in the way he performed, but his body language was just, it stunk out the place. It really did. Same goes for the bloke beside him, Romelu Lukaku, who my patience is running incredibly thin with at the minute. You've got a player there who has quite openly said that he doesn't want to be at the club, and yet we continue to play him. I'd have to ask why. And I think I even said this in after the Man City game. It's not as if he's, coming up with these incredible performances that, warrants him being in the starting 11. Once again, he was completely anonymous and non-existent last night. £100 million. I'll say it once again, lads. £100 million. Yeah, fairly good. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, I mean, when he gets into that final third, he just doesn't know what to do, does he? Like, realistically, he doesn't. He had one chance for a shot in the first half, set up by Lukaku, and he absolutely skied it. Apart from that, whenever he did try and cross the ball, just didn't beat the first man. And the fullbacks, I haven't even mentioned the fullbacks yet. Oh my god. Azpilicueta and Alonso. Right, Azpilicueta has been a fantastic servant for the club, but he's looked like he is seriously slowing up now, unfortunately. Alonso just never had any sort of speed in the first place, so no, nothing new there. And I find it incredible that we have these fullbacks. Obviously, I know Chilwell and James being out, it's massive, and in many ways it's kind of ruined Chelsea's season. But lower down in the league, you look at players like Tariq Lamptey, who played against us last night and once again was arguably the best player on the pitch, and Tino Livramento at Southampton. Obviously he's been injured for a couple of weeks, but thriving in another team, and Chelsea have just allowed them to go, which is just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Like the depth in that area is non-existent. Like, our fullbacks once again absolutely got destroyed. We'll talk about the Webster equaliser then. Obviously it was a really good header, I will say that, but unmarked. Completely unmarked. If you look at it again, I literally called it as it went into the back of the net. he's completely unmarked. He's just peeled off the back, I think, of Kante and Mount, and it's a really, really good header. As I said, Kepa can't really do anything about it. It's a top header, but, you know, when he's left completely unmarked, bloody 6'5" centre back in the box, you know, you expect him to bury that, and he does. Adam Webster absolutely brilliantly, and I really did think from that point that Brighton were going to go on and win it. One stage Kepa makes a really good save after a deflection on the McAllister shot. Mopai had a couple of opportunities. Trossard, when he came on, was lively, and overall Brighton deserved to win. Now I know they didn't probably work Kepa as much as their possession probably would have asked for. They were by far and away the better team. And Chelsea, in the span of a month or so, just over a month maybe, have gone from a really realistic title race. I think we were top of the table at the beginning of December. It's gone from that now to a top 4 race that's really out of our hands, because teams have games in hand on us, and if they win them, they'll be right up our arses, quite literally. So that's fun. The attitude from certain players, and most of the players last night, absolutely stunk. The body language, it was just whinging at each other. I remember Lukaku and Ziyech at one stage just bitching at each other. Why? And the worst thing is, our next game is against Tottenham Hotspur. That could be a really, really embarrassing defeat if it happens, because, you know, you got Tottenham, you know, #1 rival, and the side that never wins at Stamford Bridge. The win they had against us in like 2019 or whatever was like the first win in like 25 years at Stamford Bridge or something along those lines. And, you know, with the kind of form that we're in, I'm not saying Tottenham are in great form either, because they're certainly not, but with the kind of form we're in, you could see Tottenham winning on Sunday. You could, and that is not great. Antonio Conte, obviously manager as well. He would love nothing more than to come back to Stamford Bridge and give Chelsea a good beating, wouldn't he? Thomas Tuchel has to come into question as well. I love Thomas Tuchel. I keep saying this. I back Thomas Tuchel all the way, but he's made a couple of questionable decisions in the last couple of weeks. Namely, obviously starting Lukaku again, and Ziyech again, and Hudson-Odoi again. Like, questionable when you got Werner and Havertz, who are more than willing to do the work on the bench that you're asking of them. But once again, no, he chooses the man who doesn't want to be there, and Ziyech doesn't even look like he wants to be there either. Kind of wish Morocco had picked him for the AFCON at this point. But you gotta start dropping these players, bro. Like, you gotta make a statement. You gotta start dropping the players. Like, what kind of message does that send out to the players that actually want to be here and actually want to play for the club? Not a good one. Not a good one, I'd imagine. And another nitpick, and a bit more than a nitpick, that I have with Thomas Tuchel is the fact that he waited until the fact that there was only 10 minutes left to make a substitution, when it was, you know, quite clear from very early on in the second half that Chelsea needed changes. But he couldn't provide them for some reason. He made 3 all at once. He should have spanned them out a bit better than he did. The changes he made were the right men to bring on. Kovacic, Werner and Havertz definitely injected a little bit more energy, and probably in the last 5 minutes or so, you'd probably say Chelsea looked more likely to nick the win. Would have been completely undeserved, by the way, but Chelsea looked probably more likely to nick the win. But those changes need to be made sooner, and Tuchel needs to start making these changes to his own game management and to the personnel he chooses, pre-game. Because you got to pick players that want to be there, lad. It's simple as. And Lukaku, Ziyech, the likes of them two in particular, have showed quite clearly that they do not want to be there. And there's other players like Alonso and to a degree Yatsby who aren't really good enough to be starting at the minute, but you don't really have a choice because your fullbacks are injured. And in that sense, the Chelsea board need to help Thomas Tuchel out and bring in a fullback or two in January, in the next couple of weeks, because we're more than midway through the month now and nobody has walked through that door at Stamford Bridge yet. So yeah, the board needs to look at themselves as well here. But yeah, lads, that's where I'm going to wrap up the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Also subscribe. We are still very close. Actually, we are edging nicely along to 500 subscribers. 1k by the end of the year. We're going to do it. I just know we are. And yeah, see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.